How corporate money shapes politics and power in America. Explore the influence of corporate money in politics and its impact on democracy, healthcare, and public policies, with insights you won't want to miss. The impact of corporate money in politics. What's really going on? You ever stop and think about just how much money flows into political campaigns and what that really means for us regular folks? I mean, we all hear about elections, candidates, and promises. But a huge part of the story is often left out: the role of corporate money in politics. It's wild when you start to put the pieces together. So here's the thing. Corporations aren't just minding their own business. They're actively involved in shaping the laws that govern everything from environmental policy to labor rights, and yes, even healthcare. And when we say corporate money, we're not just talking about a few big checks here and there. It's billions of dollars funneled through lobbying groups, political action committees, and campaign contributions designed to sway decisions in their favor. Why does this matter? Well, when politicians rely heavily on this kind of support, their priorities can shift. Suddenly, the interests of the companies writing those fat checks become just as important as, if not more than, the needs of their voters. It creates a system where power and influence lean heavily towards wealthy corporations, rather than towards the public's voice. Think about some of the headlines you've seen recently: debates about healthcare reform, climate change policies, or regulations on big tech companies. Behind the scenes, there's a lot of money being spent to influence the outcome. And sometimes, it's not just about bending rules, but outright shaping narratives. For instance, take pharmaceutical companies. They spend a massive amount lobbying lawmakers to protect their profits. It's no secret they want to keep medication prices high and prevent reforms that might cut into their bottom line. While the general population is concerned about affordability and accessibility, these corporations have other priorities. It's a pretty clear example of how corporate interest can sometimes run counter to public good. And it's not just direct influence. The whole media industry is part of the equation too. Think about how certain stories get coverage and others don't. There are even untrue allegations floating around sometimes, conveniently distracting people from the core issues or muddying the waters in debates to stall legislative progress. But this setup has its critics, right? Absolutely. Many argue that this kind of corporate influence is, frankly, a threat to democracy. If we want a government that truly serves the people, then the presence of large corporate money needs to be transparent, limited, or ideally reduced. Otherwise, it's just a game of who has the deepest pockets. Then there's the whole government conspiracy angle people love to talk about online. Sometimes folks say, oh, the government and big businesses are working hand in hand to keep the public in the dark. While some claims are overblown or just plain untrue allegations, it's undeniable that the relationship between corporate interests and political decision-making isn't always as clean or above board as it should be. So what can people do? Staying informed, for starters. Understanding how money moves through politics is key to seeing the bigger picture. Supporting campaign finance reform measures, demanding transparency from elected officials, and voting with an awareness of these dynamics in mind can all make a difference. And speaking of stories that make you think about influence and control, have you heard about The Ultimate Frame? This compelling novel by Andrew M. Semple explores some of these themes in a gripping, fictional way that really puts you right in the middle of stuff like political intrigue and corporate power plays. It's not just entertainment, it sparks ideas about the power dynamics shaping our world. If you want to enjoy a thrilling read that's smart and full of twists, discover this thrilling novel by Andrew M. Semple today. It'll have you thinking about influence, control, and what's really going on behind the political curtain, all while keeping you hooked from beginning to end. At the end of the day, corporate money in politics isn't just an abstract problem. It's something that impacts real policies, real lives, and the future of how our democracy functions. So next time you hear election chatter, remember that money often tells a hidden story that you might not see at first glance.